Hi folks, let's talk about how you can work with Shadow DOM and iframes in Playwright. Why it's important to understand and to know how to work with it, because Shadow DOM and iframes, they are not a part of a regular DOM tree, regular HTML page, let's say converted to DOM document object model. So not all the tools and libraries can switch and find elements in those structures. So what is Shadow DOM? It's basically hidden separate document object model on a Shadow DOM. The element is attached to shadow host. Shadow DOM can be additional shadow host and so on. What is iframe? Basically something similar is HTML element that loads another HTML page within the document. It means that it will have separate dedicated DOM tree. Essentially puts another web page within the parent page. They are commonly used for advertisements, embedded videos, web analytics, and interactive content. So let's see. Let's start with Shadow DOM. Let's take cars.com as an example. As you can see, all these drop downs selects are being inside shadow root, Shadow DOM. If you will try to search for it in a browser, let's see what happens. For example, I want to find this one using CSS. So browser itself cannot even find it. Let's take this one, try another locator. Here you see also not found. But this is exactly this make drop down. You see it has select ID input. Here it is. So basically that's how it looks from the browser perspective. In some tools like Selenium, Cypress as well, you need to separately switch to Shadow DOM, call separate methods for that, but Playwright is able to find elements inside Shadow DOM trees by default. So basically you don't need to do anything. You don't need to use any specific commands to work with Shadow DOM and Playwright. For example, here are some inputs, some locators. So I'm opening cars.com and then I accept cookies, select value in make, model, and click show results. You see it's standard Playwright commands, locator, and then click, select option. So let's see if it will work or not. Let's run it. It accepted cookies, selected make and model, and we can see results. So regardless that we couldn't even find locators in the browser itself, those elements, locate elements with selectors, Playwright was able to do that. So it's really a handy tool to work with Shadow DOM. By the way, Shadow DOM, I guess, mostly comes from Angular websites developed with Angular framework and some other tools and frameworks. So once again, for Shadow DOM, you don't need to use any specific command, so switch to Shadow DOM trees and then switch back and so on as in other tools. Now let's take a look at iframes. So Here is one iframe for feedback. Double check, make sure that it's in iframe. Take this option. Here it is. So this element or elements are located inside iframe. So in order to find element inside iframe, you will need to switch to it in Playwright. I'm not sure why it's not implemented seamlessly the same way as with Shadow DOM, but anyway, it is what it is. And in other tools and libraries, you will also need to switch to frame first. So first of all, this is a locator. Let me show you visually. The browser is able to find it. This is this option. First of all, let's run it without switching to frame. I already prepared a locator for a frame, but I'm not using it, as you can see for now. So there are just some delays. Accept cookies. Click on that feedback slider, and then try to click on option inside the chat window. Let's run and see. And it should fail. The test should throw exception that unable to find element. So it's clicked on this feedback slider because it's not inside the iframe. It's in regular DOM tree. But then you see it says waiting for locator. But if you will use frame locator before to switch to the iframe, and then you call locator and your element, then everything should work. So let's check locator for frame. So here it is. This is the right one. Let's run and see if it works or not. You see now it found element and click on it. So yeah, basically to work with iframes you need to use additional chaining command or function frame locator, and then do regular search for your elements, but you don't need to switch back. If you want to click on something in a regular DOM tree, you just following the same previous commands without .frame. If you will need to do few actions inside the same iframe, then you will use few commands like that. .frame locator, .locator, .frame locator, .locator, and so on. So that's how it works in Playwright. So basically, that's it. See you in the next video.